I like when I get comments, why are you called bog otter? Do you even like otters? And the answer is yes, but only a little bit. Howdy, folks, and welcome back to another episode of Tyria Talk. My name is Richard Procopio, aka Bog Otter, and this show is all about Guild Wars 2. Today is episode number 59, and today we're going to be talking about the reskinned gem store armor debacle that's been going on since the Fractured patch has gone live. But before we get into today's topic, I just want to say real quick that some people have been asking, is the Guild Wars 2 review preview a replacement for Tyria Talk? And the answer to that is obviously no. The review preview is just something I'm going to do in the weeks between patches to kind of give my thoughts about the previous patch and preview what's coming up next. Whereas Tyria Talk, I'm just going to do whenever I have a topic I want to kind of just talk about and share my thoughts on and something that's hot with the community. So that's what I'm going to be doing. So now on to today's topic. Yesterday, I put out a video previewing the new armor sets that are available on the gem store. There's 3 new sets. They are called Flame Kissed, Flame Wrath, and Flame something that goes along with the medium armor set that I can't recall at the moment. And these are basically armor sets that have flaming particle effects on them. They look pretty cool, but they are reskins or reused armor sets that just simply have a new particle effect put on them. I'm going to use the term reskins just for easy nomenclature, but even if you don't believe they're technically reskins or whatnot. So this has sparked some debate around the community, and before we get into the real hot topic, which is the cultural armor aspect of this, I just want to kind of address that I see a lot of people making comments about, oh, this is lazy design and ArenaNet's being lazy, and why would they put these on the gem store? This is just a lazy approach, and it's lazy everywhere. The comments on my videos, they're saying it's lazy, and the Reddit threads, it's saying it's lazy, on the forums, they're saying it's lazy, and I just want to kind of say, is it though? Is it really them being lazy? And I don't think so, because for it to be just a completely lazy decision, they would they would need to 4 months ago when they're designing this patch, because they designed the patch, they start working on a patch 4 months in advance. They'd have to sit around in a meeting going, all right, well, what kind of gem store items should we put? I don't know, that's just a random ArenaNet guy voice, right? What kind of stuff should we put on the gem store during the Fractured patch? And they go, oh, let's put some new weapon sets up on there. Let's sell some weapon armor. No, let's put some armor sets. I'm sorry, not weapon. Let's put some armor sets up there on the gem store. And then, if they were going to be lazy, they would be like, we don't really want to do that. That's a lot of work. We'd have to get texture artists, and we'd have to get concept artists, and 3D modeler. Oh, man, let's not do that. That's too much work. And I cannot imagine that that's what occurred, that they're doing this out of a sense of laziness or that they just don't want to. No, that's not what it is. This is a resource management issue, right? They're coming out and saying, hey, should we put in new armor sets from scratch, brand new stuff that we've never seen? Oh, but then we wouldn't have time to do X, Y, and Z for these other upcoming patches, and we are prioritizing these other things instead of this gem store item. So it is a resource prioritization, not them being lazy. And you don't know what kind of trickle effect that would have. Let's say they actually said they made the decision to go with, hey, we're going to do brand new armors. Well, what would you not see in a future patch because of that decision? Because as much as we'd like to say, hey, we're spending all this money, they should have infinite resources, they don't have infinite resources, and they're going to make choices like this. So, before you just jump on the bandwagon of, hey, this is lazy design or lazy whatever, just think it through a little bit, because I don't believe that's what it is. Now, that said, are there problems with this decision? Yes, I do think there are. So let's kind of dive into this a little bit. Now, so as I mentioned, the reskins. One of the sets is just a set that you can find on World vs. World badges. One of them you can also find in World vs. World badges, but also some Karma vendors. So that's the Pit Fighters set for the heavy. And then the light armor set is the Tier 3 cultural armor for humans. And I think that's kind of where they misstepped, throwing in randomly one of the cultural armors for one of the races, and I'm going to dive into that a little bit more. But I don't think reskins in general are a terrible idea if they actually kind of have metrics on what the community is wearing, which I think they probably could, if they can kind of look through and say, hey, there's a couple sets that are found throughout the world, maybe at lower levels or maybe at some random vendors, that really are not being represented by a large percentage of the population. Let's spruce those armor sets up, add some cool particle effects to them or whatever they want to do, add some different colors, and sell them on the gem store, and maybe more people can, will actually gravitate toward them and wear them. I don't have any problem with that. Again, I'm not gonna call that lazy design. It's just, it's resource management. And, if it's a way for ArenaNet to make some extra money and also add some diversity to what the player base looks like and make some people happy, what's the harm in that? So I don't have a problem with reskins overall. It's less exciting, obviously, than getting something brand new, but I can understand it. Where they slipped up, I think, is just adding the cultural armor. And here's the reason why. The Tier 3 human cultural armor set, if you buy the whole set, it costs you 119 gold. And people probably did that because they wanted to stand out, right? They wanted to look cool. It's a cool armor set. And they probably did it under the assumption that only humans are going to have access to this cultural armor set, and it's going to be a little bit rarer than some of the other armor sets that are available to all of the races, right? So they purchased it with that in mind. Now suddenly there is a gem store version of this available to every race, and it's debatable whether you think it's cooler or not. I tend to think that it's actually cooler. The flame effects are pretty awesome on it. So now that there's, not only can other races use this besides just human, you made a cooler version of it. And on top of that, it's actually cheaper than getting the in-game cultural set. Because if you convert gold to gems to buy this, it comes out to roughly around 60 gold or so, which is about half the price. And on top of that, you don't need to use transmutation stones to actually get it onto your exotic gear. For whatever reason, the cultural armor sets are rare items instead of exotic. So when you buy them, when you spend the 119 gold to get your armor pieces, they're rare, and you have to actually use transmutation stones to then get that look on top of your exotic items. If you buy this from the gem store, it's half the price, and their skins are ready, so you just apply it to your gear and you're done. So I really do think that it is a big slap in the face to those human-wearing Tier 3 cultural armor people because of the way they introduced this. And it's just random that they targeted one set from the humans. I don't understand how that decision was made. We'll never understand how the decision was made. But it's almost like, hey, we want to do flaming versions of a couple of the armor sets. All right, we'll do this for heavy, this for medium. What do you think would look cool? Oh, what about this set? Oh yeah, that looks really cool. We could do this with the fun. And they just got lost maybe in designing, how it cools and how cool it could look. And they didn't really think about the implications of, oh, wait a minute, maybe we shouldn't touch cultural armor and make it available to everyone. So I don't know how that decision was made, but I definitely think it was a misstep. And I think people are right to kind of be upset about it. Now, some solutions, some ways to do this differently. Somebody made a comment on one of my videos, and it was exactly what I was thinking. Shout out to Edmo for the great idea. If they're going to do this kind of reskin in the future, why not mismatch different sets and package them together and sell them? Right? The community does that so often. They go through and they pick out, hey, I'm going to wear this piece from the dungeon armor set. This is a karma piece. This is some world versus world, and this is crafting. And they kind of cobble together these really cool looking sets that make them really stand out and unique because they've actually did a piecemeal design rather than just buying all of the armor from one set. And I think that's part of the fun of Guild Wars 2 is finding ways to say, all right, I want to make a set that makes me look like this, and I see people from that look like Assassin's Creed characters or Halo characters and, all different things, and they kind of design, how they want to look. Why not go through, if you're going to do a reskin for the gem store, go through, pick out mismatched items from different sets to make these cool themed things, add some effects to it, and then sell that set on the store. I think that would sell like hotcakes. I think people would be really interested in that, and it would kind of de-emphasize the fact that they are reused skins. I even can see, I'm not saying this is the best idea or they should do this, but I can even see them picking one piece maybe from a cultural armor set. If they really thought, hey, that Norn helm for Tier 3, we really need that for this set to make it work, they can pull in one piece in there, and there'd still be a little bit of argument there about the cultural armor people feeling a little bit snubbed, but you can make the case that it's just one piece, they're not getting the whole set, and it's part of this other package deal. So I can even see them maybe doing that. I just think that would go over really well with the community, and it would stop any kind of this, it would stop a lot of the lazy comments, and it would stop a lot of the comments about, being upset about the cultural armor. So I don't know. What do you guys think of that idea? The other idea that one of my guildmates was kind of talking about last night was, what if they made the decision, hey, we want to make super versions of the cultural armor sets. Maybe people don't have 119 gold to spend on them. Let's make a different version of the cultural armor. Still make it so that you have to be of a certain race to use it. But, maybe the Norn set, tier 3 set, is now available on the gem store with a cool frost effect. Or maybe, the tier 3 human one is on there with a fire effect. And maybe they do different elements or different kinds of particle effects. And they just make super versions of the cultural armor and sell it on the gem store. I think that that would be a cool idea as well. I could still see there being a little bit of people getting upset that, there's a cheaper way or a different way to acquire some of the cultural armor. But, as long as it remains tied to a race, I think that's that kind of that kind of argument is lessened a bit. So, those are the two solutions or different ways that I could see using reskins on the gem store and actually having less debate about it. I do think that in general that the decision to make the one cultural armor just kind of randomly is kind of odd, because you can almost see them saying, hey, we want more people to use these cultural sets. These are some of our coolest art assets in the game. Let's just make cultural armor available across all races. And if they made that kind of decision, like they do with the cultural weapons, because everyone can use the cultural weapons regardless of race. If they just said, hey, we're going to release the restriction on race, I think people could be really upset about that and still have this kind of same argument, even if they're not selling them on the gem store. Let's just say they say, all right, all the cultural armor can now be used by all races. I still see people getting upset by that, but you can kind of respect that ArenaNet is making a decision for their game, and you don't have to agree with it. You can be angry about it, but they actually made a pointed decision to say, okay, cultural armor is now unlocked for all races. This is what we want for our game, and, that's it. You deal with it, you like it or you dislike it. I think there'd be a lot of players that'd be happy about that because there's now better variety and more choices for your characters, and there'd be some people that, felt like, hey, I liked being the only kind of race that could use that type of armor. So, but at least you can respect that decision. This decision to just have, human cultural armor available in the gem store for every race just feels so arbitrary. This is not them saying we think cultural armor should be available all over the place. This is just, hey, we thought this would look cool and we did it. And I think it's harder for them to kind of support that argument. So there's my little soapbox on this. Again, just to reiterate, this is not lazy design. This is resource management. I do think that the cultural armor was a slip up. I'm not sure if there's anything they can do to revert that change now, but I hope hope the community, kind of remains constructive and gives some suggestions like I had. What do you think about the mismatched armor idea, reskin, or what do you think about the super versions of the cultural armor being put on the gem store? Hopefully somebody, listens, or this kind of feedback hits somebody at ArenaNet, and maybe we can see some of these things in the future. So that's going to wrap up this episode. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this debacle. Do you find it, are you upset by this? Do you think that they made a misstep? Are you the type that say, hey, you know what, if you don't like these gem store items, then don't buy them and this is not a big deal? Go ahead, post that in the comments below too. Let's discuss this and see where the feedback leads us. Like, favorite, and subscribe to my channel so you can be notified when future videos are released. And if you are in the United States and celebrating Thanksgiving this week, have a happy holiday weekend. I'll talk to everybody later, and I hope you have a nice day.